Hi, I'm Maggie,
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
a very bookish podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a Very Bookish podcast. Today is episode 30, and Grace and I are really filming this last minute. It is literally 10, almost 10:30 p.m. Thursday night, and of course, this is going up tomorrow, Friday, 6 p.m. But as usual, I have a busy schedule where I'm like working closing shifts for the last 6 days straight, and this is the final day that I'm actually off that I can like film.
yeah, it's been honestly this week is like the first week that I've had off of work, and I'm like last week I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of stuff done. I'm gonna reorganize my room because like now I have the time to really spend time fixing everything. I'm gonna do laundry. I'm gonna all of these things, and I've been so lazy, not wanting to do anything at all. And it's because like this is the first time in almost a year that I don't have to go to work. So,
Well, you've been there for like 6 years now, and so you're finally moving on from that chapter in your life. With God bless that you are. I mean, why did I just say? Whoa! What?
thank you, Maggie, thank you, thank
You
you,
you are very influencing me. I just said God bless.
thank you. I love that. It's having such a good effect on you. That's so
The
funny.
fact that I just said that.
I love that though. Thank you.
I think I was trying to say Papa bless because I say Papa bless a lot, but I just said God bless because I was
That's
just.
the cutest thing ever. I will never forget this moment right here.
But yeah, you've been there, so you're finally moving on from that chapter in your life, from people
And then
in that chapter.
yeah, because like usually after during school, I'd be working at the school, right? But then right in summer, so yes, I work at the school, but then I'm also a recreation assistant for the city of LA. So I work for Rec and Parks.
Parks and Rec, or is it called Rex and Park?
It's Recs and Parks.
Oh, dang, that would be
Parks and
funny.
Rec, Parks and Recs is different department than Recs and Parks.
Oh, that's confusing.
Parks and Recs is um hiking trails and things like that.
Mm,
That's
okay.
Parks and Recs because that's parks that like
Mm,
hiking trails, like outdoor parks. Recs and parks is recreation centers and parks.
okay.
Recreation meaning like facilities with gyms, with basketball courts where they actually do like teams and stuff. So Recs and parks, that's where I used to work, and I was a recreation assistant. So I would coach volleyball, softball, and basketball at the park. And then during summer, we would do summer camp. So literally, I would not have a break between summer and school season. I would
Hmm.
jump right into my next job. And now I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I get to
Yeah.
breathe.
Honestly, like, I feel like since starting reading when I did, my mindset about life has changed a ton. And I think that has to do with reading, and like I've kind of like I felt fallen back into like I've had these I kind of want to talk about like these like stages in life I think that everybody has, or like these phases that we go through, but like reading was always like a constant thing for me, and the fact that like I've fallen deeply back into reading, and like how that's like made me view differently, and like what I want for the future now differently, and I feel like both of us are just like going to better places now.
Literally, because like at first I was like fine if I stayed there working at that school, but now it's like no, I want better. I want more. I was fine staying there. It was a good job. I did a lot of good things there. But now I'm like, no, I want to do better than that. So
You finally got an Apple Pencil back.
I finally got my Apple Pencil. Uh
Did you?
it's in my purse. It's
Okay.
in my purse.
I really thought you were about to say, I don't know where it's at. And I was about to be like,
No. It's
great.
in my purse because I opened it on my way to church on Sunday.
Hmm.
Sunday, yeah. I opened it on my way to church and I just stuffed it in my bag and it's been there since. So I know where it is.
Yeah.
Pins coming soon, I promise.
Yes. I'm so excited because, like, you finally have the time to design now. Like,
Mm.
and like yeah, so it's gonna be fun for what we have coming up. Kind of to like let's kind of talk about how we both got Kindles. We both got Kindles this week. It
Yes.
was Prime Day this week, and so do you want to show you got your Kindle. Which Kindle did you get?
I got the Kindle Paperweight 20
Paperweight? Is that what it's called?
Paperwhite. I always say paperweight. It's like the first thing that comes out of my mind. Paperwhite.
Mm-hmm.
White. It's the 8 GB. It's the newest one. Yes. It is waterproof and it's already dirty because
Yeah, it's 6-inch touch display, 300 ppi, waterproof. Um,
totally not an ad, by the way.
yeah, built-in light, Wi-Fi, and 8 GB. I got the same one. I got it actually in Twilight, and I did not get the ones that I think I could like upgrade it to not have ads. I think you can upgrade them, and I might do that. But like, I'm not gonna pay. I'm paying like the four month payment plan for it because I got it, and it's like $80, and I was like, ooh, don't have that money to spend. I could spend $25 on this every month. So and then I got a little pop socket for mine. Um, I got the like lotus flower like enamel pop socket for mine, and I already have a ton of books on here, um, which is kind of great. I'm so excited.
Literally all. And then I put a passcode on mine because I was like, there's too many people around. And my dad, he's a reader too. He actually has my Fire tablet,
Hmm.
and I gave it to him because I wasn't really using it at the time. But now I'm like, I needed one of my own. Look, Maggie, you
I
put
know.
favorite
So
thing.
I sent Grace, if you're listening on the YouTube, you can see I got this in a fake crate. It is a darker shade of magic pop socket, and I had shown Grace it in what January, and you were like, oh, I wish I got that, and then I was like, birthday gift for Grace, because I'm never going to use it. It's a kind of a weird shape for my small fingers, but it's perfect for Grace now. You have to get like a I don't know what kind of
I
black.
need a black and red
Yeah,
case.
you do.
Definitely. Honestly, the Kindle has been on my mind to buy for quite some time. Mostly due to Pauline. Shout out to Pauline because
Yes, shout
her,
out.
she definitely convinced me. She always had it. It was so cute. And also like Fit Tea Rachel on TikTok.
Hmm.
Her too, she really got me inspired to do it. And I think she was one of the first TikTokers ever that I saw with like the pop socket on her Kindle. And then
Yeah,
like literally after her, everybody started doing it. And I was just like, yeah, I
yeah.
definitely need one. And it's like so small and like I really like it. I'm reading because before I was reading on my phone and it was fine, but I got tired of it. And
Yeah.
it's small.
Yeah, so what I like about this is it doesn't hurt my eyes. So like with my phone, it has that like bright like screen, and this feels more like a paper, and it's lighter, and that's why it's called paper white, because it's like light like a piece of paper.
Mhm.
That's what I found out.
It's really
Um
cute.
but yeah.
And it's not too much. Like literally today I was doing a whole bunch of errands and it was able to fit in my pocket, like fully in my pocket.
You got some
And
big ass pockets.
they're like gym sweat type of running pants, but it was able to fit in the whole my pocket and I was really surprised by that.
Mhm.
Um so I'm just hoping to get a case for it. That was like one of the main things that I was getting on Prime Day. A couple of other things that I got was like stuff for my house, but I also got my desk. So I'm hoping to get my office
Oh.
renovated for my reading office. So that way we can start like setting up shop for all of our merch and things like that.
Hmm.
And hopefully my podcast I won't be recording with my bookshelf behind me anymore. I'll probably do it with my fan art wall, which I'm also working on that. But yeah, so far that's what I got on.
Yeah. I didn't buy much on Prime Day. I guess I got my Kindle, and then I got like a new backpack. So this is my backpack. I've been using a Barnes and Noble tote bag as my purse for the last 6 months. And so fun fact, I'm actually going to see Eamon this weekend. I'm driving all the way up to Chicago. So I'm gonna visit her. I'm staying with her for 3 days, her and her family. and I was like, I need to have something that's like not small purse, but can hold like if we go shopping or something. And I like backpacks, but like my last backpack I had, the zipper broke, and it's
Mhm.
been like a while, and it was like a flimsy like leather one, so it was like wasn't as sturdy, but so I got a backpack, and of course the Kindle, which I feel like this color suits me so well. I was gonna go with the sage green, but then I was like, it's not really me.
Yeah. I went with the black one simply because I could get a case for it, and I usually like changing colors often.
Mhm.
I don't like staying with the same color for more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Given my room, I painted it orange and like this teal blue, and already I'm like, man, I should paint it like a lighter orange. I'm that
Honestly, you should probably just you should have kept your walls white,
I
but then
should have.
done like colorful like photos and stuff.
I know. I was thinking about it now, but then I do need some color somewhere. I don't know. Uh, but yeah. So I'm hoping to get a case for it soon. So that way I could get like multiple cases and I can like switch them out whenever I want. But yeah, I'm really in love with it. I've been on it for since I got it. Like as soon as I was waiting at the door while the delivery man was showing up. Like I was like if you have me on my private Snap story for my readers, um had like the camera up to like the peephole in the
I
door,
saw that. Yeah.
watching the delivery guy walk up to drop it off in front of my door. Cause like I opened it when the truck pulled up and I was like, quick, slam the door, wait to see. And then like I immediately opened it. I couldn't wait.
So for me, I so I was coming back from I bought my dad a birthday card with my sister at Barnes and Noble after we worked out, and I we like went to Barnes and Noble, and then we came back, and I saw the Amazon truck right outside my house, and I was like,
Yeah.
because I've been waiting for it, and it said it would deliver from like 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and I was like, ooh, time to go get it. And so I got it. My mom
Yeah.
doesn't know I got a Kindle, so we're just gonna keep that a secret. But
Exactly. And it's crazy because like I have an Amazon warehouse like the next city over,
Mhm.
and like a whole bunch of like job openings for that. But like I get my Amazon packages like super fast. I thought I got them fast in LA, but here it's like the next day, literally the next day I get it, even though it's 2 day shipping, which is pretty great.
No, you always get it so fast. And I'm just like, how? How, ma'am? How?
I stay close to Amazon. That's the trick.
Yeah.
But yeah. So are you reading on your Kindle right now?
So actually, I'm currently reading a lot of physical books that I have. Oh, my backpack. It's in my backpack. I have my little book sleeve that I got, but I just finished a book that an author had sent me. It's called Rough and Rowdy. The feminism left my body when I read that book.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna do a video on it, but that's all I can say. But I read so this week I've read Penelope Douglas's Credence. um, yeah, interesting. You can go look at my review on TikTok. Um, yeah, I actually gonna bring it to Chicago with me so Eamon can read it while I'm there.
Okay, I gotta ask you, do you think I can handle that?
Probably, it's really taboo, and it's really like there are some dark themes in there,
Because it's with like two brothers, right?
and their dad.
And the dad. Yeah, I don't know.
I think you.
I'm
I
a
think
little softy.
yeah, it's not a soft romance relationship at all between all
I
of them.
like look, I'm a softy who wants a man who can check the girl, you know? I need an
Yeah.
alpha male who's soft and loving and caring and blah blah blah, but push comes to shove, he's like, no, that's not how it's
It's
gonna
not
work.
this book. That's not this book at all. But I read Penelope Douglas's Credence because I got it from work, and then
Yeah.
now I'm reading Penelope Douglas's Bully.
Okay, so I think I have that one
You
on.
have read it, or you
No,
have
I
the book?
haven't read it.
Did you buy the book?
I think I did.
When?
Um, ebook.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, you never showed me that you had the book. I was like,
Uh,
where's it?
when I was setting up my Kindle, I was like, add, adding everything. It's really
Oh
bad.
my gosh.
So I have that one too. So I'm gonna see how that one works out.
Penelope Douglas is really good at writing those like darker romances. Um, I do wish though it was not a happy ending for Credence. I felt like it would have been really good if it wasn't a happy ending.
Oh, I need happy endings, okay? Because I don't have them in real life. I need them in my books.
It just like the relationships. I felt like it
There
would
was
have
no
been.
way for it to work out towards the end.
There was like it obviously did, but it just felt like it would have been so much better if if like if it didn't if she like was like no,
Mm,
like no, this is no longer a viable option. I felt
got
like
it,
it would have been really powerful.
got it, got it, got it.
So
Yeah, I don't know. Right now I am reading the third book in the Maid series by Danielle Laurie. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I am obsessed with this entire series. I have to give a huge shout out to Ofa from Ofa Loves Books on TikTok. She's like a romance book talker who I befriended. Like it was funny because I kept seeing her videos pop up on my TikTok for you page, and like I was just like, girl, this girl has so many good books, let me just add her. And then looking at the video that you made with like all the romance recs for different like genres and things like that,
mhm.
I saw the Maid series, and then I had been seeing a lot of videos on her page about it. So I joined one of her lives, and she's just like, oh yeah, go ahead and start that one, it's pretty good. So I started it. I
Oh
absolutely.
wait, I thought you've read this series before.
No, this is my first time ever reading it.
Oh, oh, whoa. Wait, I thought you've read like the first book before and like was rereading it and like getting back into the series.
No, this is my first time ever reading it.
Well, the fourth book is coming out soon.
Yes.
I
Yes.
saw that and I sent it to you. I was like, oh my gosh, Grace is gonna be
Yes.
so excited.
And it's crazy because like I'm part of her Danielle Laurie's Facebook group,
Mhm.
and a lot of authors have Facebook groups, especially indie authors. So I joined onto hers, and she had a contest for the title of the fourth book.
Oh.
So you could enter a name that
Oh.
would fit in with the theme, and a girl commented the purest addiction. Like she gives you like the synopsis of the story, what kind of tropes are in it, kind of a little background. You could read the first chapter to kind of get the vibe of it. And we know who the main character is, the guy, because he's popped out in the first book. And she won because her title was The Purest Addiction. And I thought that was so dope. And that's such a cool way for like the author to keep her readers like engaged into everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So far right now I am on the third book, The Darkest Temptation. The Sweetest Obsession was the second book, and that one absolutely took me out. I I loved the first one. My first mafia romance ever. It's like an Italian mafia. I loved it so much. Everything about it. So good. The tension, the banter, all of it. And then I read the second one, and it was beyond amazing. I was like talking about it for days, and I'm trying to convince everybody to read it because it's so good. The main guy, he kind of scared me sometimes, but I fell in love with him anyways because he just cared about her so much. and it's like after years. Anyways, so I started the third book, and the third book was a little bit hard to come into because I was so obsessed with the second one. And so it took me a little while to get into it. And me, I've realized that I love dual point of views with the guy and the girl. I like abs that just takes me in because I love seeing him through her eyes and I love seeing her through his eyes. And this book, the third one, just was the girl's point of view coming into the world. She has no idea of the mafia or anything. And this guy is the brother to the guy in the second book.
Ronan is the brother.
Ronan is the brother to Christian. And Ronan pops out a little bit over the phone in the second one. And so I was like, oh, he's kind of funny. I like him.
It's funny.
Back to him.
Grace literally texted me earlier today and was because I speak Russian, and she literally asked me what this like name was. And I was like, I'll ask my dad. And my dad, like, I sent her like a voice memo. You can hear me and my dad
Yeah.
saying it. I think I have it. Let me pull it up here real quick. So she texts me and she's like, also, can you help me out? And I said, how she goes, how do you pronounce Mikolov? And oh, my audio isn't all the way up. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. So you say Mikhailov? Mikhailov. That's how you say it. So this is me and my dad like telling Grace how to say Mikhailov.
Because there's a lot of Russian, well, not a lot, but there's a lot of Russian little sayings and little phrases in the book. And man, I've been hitting up that Google Translate like no tomorrow. But with this one name, I'm like, no, I need to hear how it's said because it pops up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like her last name. And, you know, she doesn't know anything about this, but her name keeps popping up. I don't know why yet. I'm only halfway through the book. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give it. I didn't want to be that person to like be like, okay, you're the only person I know that speaks Russian, so you got to translate this for me. But I gave in and I did it. And it was so cute because hearing your dad in the background, it was like the most adorable thing ever. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's funny because we were literally like on our way to his birthday dinner because my sister, me and him went out to his birthday is tomorrow, and so we went out to dinner. And then like as I was walking down, you sent me that, and I was like, well, I'll just ask my dad right now. And he's like, Mikhailov, that's how you say it, Mikhailov. And so I just started voice recording, and I said Mikhailov, and he's like, yep, that's how you say it. And I'm like, great for Grace to know.
I
And
love that. It was so cute.
you were like, you couldn't say it because.
Like my Spanish wanted to come through.
So how are you saying it before I corrected you?
I don't want to say.
Say it. You have to. You have to.
I have to read it.
Oh my gosh. Are you reading it from the book or online?
No, I'm reading it from the messages. I could read it from the book, but no, it's okay. Because I got to type in the passcode. I put a passcode on my Kindle because, you know. So reading it in Spanish, I would have read it like Mikhailov. And I know that's not right.
Yeah. So like in Russian, is that ha? Is that
yeah? And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I know how to roll my R's, but I don't know how to.
It's from that like Gaelic kind of sounding.
So I would have read it. I was reading it slow. So I was like, I love Mikhailov.
A lot of people would have just said Mikhailov or something like Mikhailov.
Mikhailov. That's kind of how I was saying it, Mikhailov. But then I would, the more I would like speed through it, it would become a little more like Spanishy, Mikhailov. And I was like, that's not right. Let me pump the brakes real quick and double check. And yeah, because Ronan, it is in Russia. So yeah. And I gotta say, the writing is doing such a good job and making me hate him. I despise this man the way that she does. And because the betrayal's so early on. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's really good. If you haven't read the Maid series, please do, because I'm obsessed with it. But it's like giving off Mad Beauty and the Beast vibes.
Okay.
But we're
Okay.
getting a lot of like that first night where he's like, if she doesn't come to dinner with me, she's not eating at all. Kind of like
Okay.
yeah. So we're slowly starting to get into the rest of the stuff. I'll tell you this, Maggie, when it starts changing to the point where like he starts softening up in my eyes, I'll send you a voice recording with that song that Belle sings. There's something dun, 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 that wasn't there before. Yeah, I'll send you a voice recording of that song. You'll hear my beautiful voice.
I do not know what song you're talking about.
You'll know it when I send it.
Okay. Not sure.
Okay.
We'll see.
Moving on.
Okay. So kind of to get that was just our like introduction into the episode, kind of warm us up. So I am gonna start reading more on my Kindle. Because I like I realized like I'm not gonna be able to like over when I'm at school and stuff. I'm not gonna be able to spend money on like books and stuff. Like I'm really gonna have to cut down on how much I buy physical books. Like I have a ton of physical books now, and so I need to start like using and saving money through using Kindle Unlimited. So I really invested into that. But today we both have read this book. We were literally supposed to have this episode a month ago, but we've had so many other guests, so many other ideas. I think that's kind of what's hard about having sometimes a podcast once a week is like, well, we have all these ideas on episodes we want to do, and we're doing like weekly episodes, and then we push back stuff. And I'm like, sometimes I wish I'm like, next time we'll just record twice or put out 2 in 1 week or something like that.
Literally.
So, because sometimes it's just like, why not just do it? But today we are going to be talking about Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So we chose this. Who I don't remember who I saw read this. I think it was
Chronically Brenna. That's why.
yes. I saw Faye. Faye was the one who read this and was like talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a good book." And so I think I got it first, and I read it, and I was like, I wanted to do it for the podcast, and so I read it in like March. No, when did I read it?
We read it in April. Beginning of April.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, because I was still in school.
Yeah. And we had just finished We Hunt the Flame.
Yes, that's what it was, because we were doing the We Hunt the Flame. So we read this a while ago. I actually only tabbed three things.
I tabbed a lot.
Well, that's the thing is I was tabbing, and then I got so into the book I forgot to tab.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those books that you can just like speed through. So this is what we'll do. We'll do like a quick 15 minutes spoiler free.
Yeah.
And then when we'll start getting into the spoilers. Like overall, this book was really great. It deals with a chronic illness. Main character, she's also plus sized, and she is Black. And it does a really great story of her not wanting to live, right? Like that's the whole title. She wants to go out there. She wants to get a life. She wants to live before she feels like she can't do anything at all. And she has like this near-death experience, even though it could be construed as not that near-death experience. And she ends up making a list like, this is the things that I'm going to accomplish, and I'm not going to let my illness stop me from getting this done. And so she moves out of her parents' home, and then she enlists this
She creates she creates like a to-do list kind of things she wants to do to get a life, Chloe. Like to get a life, she does this. And so like what does she have? She has like going to a bar.
Is riding on a motorcycle,
Mhm.
a one-night stand.
Yeah. Do
uh,
something bad.
do
Oh wait,
something bad.
enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorbike, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and 7, do something bad.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not that long of a list, and it seems like it's like pretty, doable. And her, not her, her um apartment tenant manager, or
he's
what do you
like he's like the handyman. He's kind of honestly like an RA for like a dorm room. He's like the RA, so like he deals with like plumbing it, but a handyman as well. So but also a manager, but he's like not the manager. He's just like the guy who lives on the property and like fixes everything and like you go to him for stuff, but you it's not he doesn't own the property.
Yeah, and like he just, from
He
their first encounter, they don't really like each other. And through the story, the way the story goes is that he ends up saying, okay, I'll help you complete your list. And we have them bickering and figuring each other out, and then him dealing with his trauma, and
of an ex. Yeah.
her dealing with her things. A lot of miscommunication, but it's so good. Red made me blush
Like
so many times.
Red is one of those characters who, when you read, you're like, how does a woman like think this? Like, this is exactly what you want, but you're like, how do you even imagine this? Because it's so perfect, and you're like, I just want him to be real. I want Red to be a real guy, and I want him to say this to me.
He is honestly like one of like my top book boyfriends. Like, I really don't have any that really stick with me after a couple months, but Red, since the moment I got to his point of view, and that's the great thing about this book, it is dual point of view, so you do get his point of view. From the moment that I got into his head, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to stay here, because I loved him so much. He was so funny and so quid-lipped, and like he just like had to come back for everything, and like the things that man thought, oh, that
Like,
man.
it's like what you think a man would think, but also like 10 times better and sexier.
But like 10 times better.
Like
He
10
would
times
say
sexier.
things that I was just like, oh, like I had to stop and like reread those scenes. And it was like done such a well job, really made me fall in love with him. And it also made me like really feel for him during like a like certain conflict moments. I like loved him overall as like a whole person. Like he did not do anything bad in my eyes ever. Maybe a couple times, but that's neither here or there. And yeah, like I literally was reading this book, and halfway through it, I was like, I need the rest of the series. Immediately ordered it on Amazon, had the 2 books coming in literally before I was even done with the first book. Like, that's how good it was to me. The chronic illness rep was done in such a way that even if you didn't have chronic illness, you could still like um understand the pain, and it was like described in such a way that you could you would know how it felt without knowing what it felt like. Like it was like you understand what like a sweet strawberry would taste like, so you would know what a candy flavored like that would taste like. Completely two different things, but they are very similar in a sense that you can make your mind fill in the gaps. And from like a bunch of other friends who have chronic illness, they have both like raved so much about this book, how it deals and handles it so realistically in a way that people outside of that spectrum could like understand it and deal with it, but also to genuinely describe this is what we live through every single day. And the way that Chloe was like, yes, I have this, but I'm still gonna do this, I'm still
She
gonna
doesn't
go on.
let it stop her.
Exactly. And
And
that
it
was done beautifully.
yeah, and I I felt like I really connected with Chloe when like even like I well, you wouldn't know if I suffered from a chronic illness. Like chronic illnesses, I think it highlights in this book that like it may not look like you're in pain, but you could be. And I think that is a common misconception when it comes to people who are suffering with chronic illness, is like it looks like they're fine on the outside, but in the inside they are dying in their own body. And I like, and it's painful to like live. And I kind of like, whenever I read this book, I like, it keeps reminding me of this TikTok I saw, and it's this girl like crying, and she's talking about her chronic illness to her mother, and her mother's like, well, you look fine, and she's like, I am sick, and she's like crying and telling her mom that she is sick, and her mother's like, you look fine and you're fine, you can do stuff, you're not like, just because she doesn't look sick doesn't mean that you aren't. And I think that needs to be recognized. And like, the fact that like Talia does this really well, and it's like it gives you an insight onto people who do have those chronic illnesses, and that like it's something that's hidden,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean it's less, it doesn't affect their life less.
Yeah, because like when you're living at a certain amount of pain for most of your life, it becomes your standard. Like you forget what it feels like not to be in pain. And so it's kind of like that thing of like, this is like an example I feel like most people would be able to live to understand. It's like when you have like a pounding headache and it's going on all day, it's like it's the pain is still the same, it's the same level, but throughout the day you've gone through it to ignore it, to have it at the back of your mind. So if somebody asks you, are you doing okay, it's just like, yeah, I'm fine, but that headache is still at like a 9 on your pain level, but you've been through it for like a couple of hours already, that it's just like your mind has been able to block it out and focus on other things. It's like that, but like 100 times worse, you know? And that baseline of pain is like something that a lot of people, our friends, have to deal with. And it shows a great perspective on Red, on how he dealt with caring for Chloe in a way that didn't inhibit her ability to take care of herself.
Yeah,
And I
it
feel like
didn't.
it showed that great relationship.
Yeah, it he he was like, I will take care of you, but he wasn't an overbearing, I would take care of you. And
Yeah.
he like he the thing about Red is he noticed those like tiny little things, like when she would like flinch or something, and he's like, okay, stay, like you need to stay. And even though yes, she could support herself and do it all alone, he recognized that, but he's also like, you're in pain right now, let me take care of this for you. And that kind of like, you're not alone in this. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people who do suffer, they feel so alone, and like to have somebody to like, even when you're sick, you will always want that person to be like, I will help you, like I know you can do it on your own, but just relax and let me help you with this. And I think she does that beautifully in this book.
Yeah. Because Red was often saying, like, what do you need? What do you need to get done? And I will do what I can for you. And it was done in a way that anybody could literally do it. And it wouldn't be seen as like them trying to control her, which was her main problem and why she wanted to start this list. You know, he gave her the space to be her own person, and that's often what you want in a partner, and anybody, in a friend even, to kind of like see you but then not think anything lesser of you because you have an illness, if you have pain, or if you have a disease, or if you have any other disability. It does not inhibit you from being able to live, because it doesn't make you less of a person. And Red did so amazing with it. And I think that's why I loved him so much more, because he was just a good guy. And I loved him for that. So before we jump into the spoilers, because I feel like we're starting to get in there. Overall, do you want to say your rating for the book overall before we jump
Yeah.
in?
So let me pull up my Goodreads rating for this, because I kind of I like I think I so whenever I finish a book, I always like in my Goodreads, I like keep up to date. So like whoever follows me on Goodreads, they like see my updates and stuff, and I always like put my like thoughts out as what you do with Goodreads. For this book, I think I was doing that. I kind of started it, I think, after this book, where I was like wanting to keep track of like what I was thinking throughout the book, because I got a lot of feelings for this book. This book,
Oh,
like, but
yep.
I rated this. Oh, so I actually rated this book 3 stars out of 5.
But you were coming off of a lot of other super, super spicy books and a lot of
Yeah.
intense relationship books.
So okay, I'd give it a 3.5. Like, I think I'm starting to get a little more critical when it comes to my reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm not just giving a book like a 4 or 5 out of 5 stars. Even if I read it in a day, I'm not giving it 5 stars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though if I do finish a book in a day, it's probably because I'm hooked and I'm reading it, but I'm also trying to be a little bit more critical for when I do my videos. But I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars because that's still really good. That's a 70%. But I think I don't know if I would read it again, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, I read it once and I enjoyed it, but I'm not dying to read the next books, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's like those differences between like some books where you're like, I have to read the next book. Like, I have to read the next book now. And this one, I'm like okay with not reading the next book or the rest of the series. I'm okay with that. How about you?
And me, I'm the other way around because clearly I was dying to read the next books, but I got busy with some other books. So they are in my summer reads TBR. I was obsessed with this book. I say that a lot now. I need to pick a different word. Obsessed comes from sweetest obsession. I need to find another word. But I gave this book a 5 out of 5 because it had the romance, it had the tension, it had the quick banter, it had those great relationship building moments that I absolutely adore. I love like the communication, I love the talking it out, the partner dynamics of a relationship. It had all of that for me, and it had like a good problems and issues that would come up in real life and were resolved realistically. So that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. The spice as well was perfectly done for this book.
Yeah. So like there's a thing. So a lot of people have been talking about how like there's a difference between like a spicy book and like a book that has spicy scenes. Like
Mhm.
all adult romances are going to have a little bit of spicy scenes, but like
Yeah.
in this, I think she like I have so at my Barnes and Noble that I work at, I made like a spicy tier list, and I would put her at like the second. So like as you go down, it gets more and more spicy. So there's
Mhm.
4 levels. I would rate this like a 2 spicy because like the way she describes it, it's like it's not just like a like a sweet cute scene. It's like a dirty raunchy scene.
Yeah, and like the things that are said are
The things
very,
that he thinks about Chloe, and you're
oh
like,
my gosh, this dude literally,
he knows how to think.
he knows how to think. And
Like
that's why I loved him so much more. And that's why I gave it such a better rating because of that. Because,
I he so when you're like when you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is hot. Like, and he's just commenting like about her lips
her
and about her
legs,
legs, and I'm just like, it
he
made
had he had me in love with Chloe and the way her body looked. Like that's how much he adored her.
like he just made you feel sexy.
Yes.
He made like like the way he talks, that would make anybody feel sexy.
Man. And Chloe was a plus size woman. Like hell,
I think that's also important. Well, they're all the sisters are plus
yeah,
size, but oh, that was our like timer for spoilers. But
yeah. I still stick with my 5 out of 5 because I definitely would read this again.
mhm.
Um, also for my audiobook listeners, it's a great audiobook. Um, you only get one narrator for the whole thing because it is in third person, but you do get like a bunch of the accents and things like that because it is like set in like England, UK.
UK, yeah.
Um, and so I really did like the audiobook. So if you like audiobooks, this is I recommend this audiobook for sure. I would listen to it again and reread it for sure. But from here on out, we're going to go into a bunch of spoilers. So if you haven't read the book yet, make sure you stop your video, your podcast listen here, go read the book, and then come back and finish out the rest of this episode.
Yeah. So, to start off this spoiler session, what was your favorite scene in this book? Because I know my favorite scene, and it's like the cutie but raunchy scene.
Okay, a scene that I really, really like is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna save that other scene for my like spiciest scene. Okay, so the scene that I really liked is the one where he comes into her apartment for the first time,
Uh-huh.
and he is he sees her, and this is like a bad day for her, meaning her illness, her pain level is really high. So he comes in. This is like the first day that they're gonna start working together because she is building a website for his art. And so they're helping each other out with the list and the website. And he comes in and immediately notices something is wrong with her. And he kind of proceeds to start taking care of her. But they're like little banter throughout that scene, and the way he kind of handles being shown what's wrong really like set the mood for how the rest of the book was going to go. That was one of my favorite scenes, and the camping scene was really great.
Okay, I think the tent scene where like they go into the tent and he has like the lights strung up and stuff. I think that was my favorite scene because it showed like yes, we could see how like he cared and stuff like when he took care of her and stuff, but like that's where it was like it was just the two of them, nothing else. And they went camping together and he made this like and then they like had sex in the end and it was just a really good scene.
It was a really sweet scene because I was just like, he knew that this was a big deal.
Yeah.
And he took it into his own hands to make it an experience. Like it's not just like the act, it's about the experience of things. And I feel like a lot of people kind of like miss that. It's like we like to like when you're receiving a gift, it's not like, oh yeah, here's like I got you this phone case and that's it, you know? It's about the experience. It's about like, you know, receiving something wrapped up and opening it up, no matter what it is. It could be an avocado, and
It's an
the opening,
avocado.
it's an avocado. Thanks.
Thanks.
And it's, I love that you got that. Thank you.
I loved Vine. What are you talking about?
Hey, different era. I had to make sure that you were there, okay?
Oh my gosh, the Vine era. I'm not even gonna get off topic with Vine. The Vine era was
Oh
iconic.
my gosh, it was something. But yeah, it's about the experience of opening it up and seeing it and being surprised, you know, even if you don't like the gift at the end, but it's all about the experience. And he knew that camping was, yeah, it was camping, but it was her whole list was about experiencing things, about living and having those experiences matter and mean something to her. And he knew that this had to be the best that he could make it. And he was just so thoughtful with every little aspect. So cool.
Yeah, and that's I literally had this conversation with one of my coworkers, but like that's she was talking about it and she's like, how was like the main love interest? And I was like, you could tell like this is like you could tell it was a man written by a woman because he was so thoughtful and
Attentive.
attentive and he listened and but he listened without listening, if you know what I mean. So he like paid attention to the little things and he it's those non-verbal communications that he listened to as well that I think was very important, especially in their relationship and the growth of their relationship. Because throughout the book we see like the scene of Chloe in the tree getting the cat. Also, the fact that she had to give away her the cat, I felt so bad for her. Like that cat became one of like the stable things and she loved the cat. And then this like honestly reckless, I mean they became friends in the end.
Yeah, they
But
did.
it was just kind of like she gave up the cat. But the cat was like that constant thing tying them that brought like the relationship really together because he found her in that tree and that was like when he was like talking about it, he was talking about her legs in the tree and I was like
Okay. Let's backtrack a little bit because that first scene where we jump into his like POV and he is thinking about her after she bumped into him the first time. And then he starts thinking about her legs. And he basically like has a quick me time with himself and quickly fantasizes literally just about her legs. And I was like, if that's not like one of like the sexiest things ever, because it's not anything else. Like he hasn't seen her naked, he hasn't seen her, you know, anything else, but it was just like his obsession with her legs. And you gotta admit, like you gotta think about it. She's a bigger girl, and like you can picture her whatever size, but she's not a thin girl. So
I
she has
imagined her how I have like this little photo. If you're looking on the YouTube, I'm putting the photo up of Red, her, and the cat together. But like that's how I envisioned her in the book. Like that's how I thought of her as. Like I mean, it's cartoon, but I translated it into.
yeah. And like so if you aren't on YouTube, you can look at the cover and see the picture on the cover. And so like her legs are like so big and juicy to him and so soft, and that he just, it was so much that he got like hard and immediately had to like let it go, you know? And the fact that he is thinking about this and the things that man thinks about, the way he was picturing it and being able to caress her legs and her thighs and all of this stuff. And he finally like, you know, boom, here we go, done. Boom, 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 knock at the door. Guess who it is? And it's Chloe. I died.
It's that like getting caught in the act. Like it's always that like getting caught trope where it's like they could be getting caught.
Oh my
Sorry, I just
god.
heard a knock and I was like, oh, but like getting caught like doing something by the like other person, and you're just like, oh, you didn't see me. But it's like so, and it was just, and it's the fact that like it's not even like, it's the fact that he finds things like her legs sexy, and that's like what every woman wants, is like something that like that they don't think. I think that's like why I liked him so much, is this like, it's not something that like you would inherently like. A lot of guys like go straight for butts or boobs or like
Like,
lips, and the fact that he was like her legs, and you're like, oh.
okay, I gotta like read a little bit of this. Um, this is on page 82, if any of you have your book on you. It says, he could imagine it though, and he did. Inside his mind, Chloe Brown was in his bed because she belonged there. He had no idea why she belonged, and Dream Chloe was in no state to explain it to him, but she definitely did. He could feel her soft skin against his, her breath in his ear, her nails digging into his biceps. A phantom scent haunted him, salty like the ocean air on a seaside holiday, or like the sweat between the bodies of two people chasing sensation. And then it goes into what he's doing.
Okay, but like this like, okay,
It's about the sensation. It's not so much about her.
like okay, so sinking into her was tempting, but he moved down her naked body instead. Eyes shut against the truth of his own weakness, he breathed her in, bathed in her heat, lowered his head, swept his tongue over her, parting like, it gets graphic. Like,
It's not just like
it's not like a
fold
fluffy
and
like,
her her nub or whatever. It's like straight up body parts.
it describes like,
It's straight up body parts. And literally right as he's about to,
okay, literally, I this line, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna read it. He stroked himself faster and thought about how she'd react, how her thighs would tighten around him and her hips would arch up towards him, and that dangerous voice of hers would crack on his name. Someone knocked at his front door. Like that is like a, it's like a oh, moment. It's like the
you
one where you want to
not
like
just
cover your mouth.
it, and it's literally like he's trying to get himself together. He's like, yo, just a sec. And then he hears her voice, please don't hurry on my account. And then he just knew that. And like the way that she says it too, she says it so deadpan, but then he knows that it's a joke because he
Yeah.
knows, he gets her sense of humor already.
Her she has a very dry sense of humor, but he understands that. And that's really cute.
Yeah, and then like when she's like looking him in later on, she starts smiling, and then she goes like, "What on earth has happened to you? You're all flushed, your hair is a mess, and I think you've done your buttons incorrectly." And he just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And it's just like such a funny moment because like the way that he kind of like tries to like calm down and just focus is like so adorable. I loved that interaction between them. Another thing that I really liked between them was the emails. The emails
Yes,
were
that was
so
so cute.
cute. I love emails and little notes back and forth and text messages. I love when stories have that in their own way. Like in Akatar, like Reese and Feyre have like
The little
almost
paper.
texting. Yeah, which is basically them texting
It
in the
honestly is because they're instant messaging each other.
it's
Like
it's, it's
instant.
messaging, even though that they have that mind to mind. Well, it's not there completely yet. Um, and so I love it when books have this. And so the emails start based on like the website and things like that. And he loves to mess with her.
Yeah.
That he starts like bringing up like, wow, I don't even get like a full regards, just like a regards, and that's like the abbreviation. And then he goes, they start like signing it off, and then they start chatting about other things that doesn't even have to do with the website. And he calls her dearest Chloe
Oh,
and best and Chloe Button Brown. And I love that he starts calling her Button.
okay,
And
Button is such a cute, like it's an adorable like pet name. Button.
it fits to her because of like she has to have buttons on all the time.
Yeah.
And even like even though they're fake, but he it's like it's something different if somebody gives you a nickname and it has nothing to do with you, but it's just a cute nickname. Like if somebody calls you honey or like sweetie pie or something like that, but it's just because it's a cute name. Whether as they called you Sunny because you're always wearing something yellow, or because you have sunshine, her because she's called Button because she literally has buttons all the time. And it's because I love nicknames like those because it shows that the person is actually paying attention to you and
Mhm.
what you are and what you do, that this is specified exactly to you. Like I've never had a nickname ever. And I'm kind of sad because I'm like, dang, can
Like I think pet names can become very cringy 365 days. Um like okay, I think 365 days has like really tarnished baby girl for me because in Rough and Rowdy he says baby girl and then I just think of Massimo saying, "Are you lost, baby girl?" And I'm just like, it has ruined it for me. Like I really like I like baby girl, but also it's like I can't stop thinking, "Are you lost, baby girl?"
yeah.
So Button is such a cute nickname, and it's nice when you have like an inside joke with your significant other, and you can like be like, "Oh, hey, Button," or like in one of them I read he called her Petal, and it was good. It was good. Also, Christina Lauren, two people. Yeah, I did not know that. Christina Lauren is written by two authors, Christina and
Honeymooners?
Lauren.
The unhoneymooners?
Yeah.
Wow.
Christina Lauren is Christina and Lauren. I did not know that.
That's pretty cool. Maybe
I found
that's
that
how we do ours.
yeah. What would it be though?
Well, Grace can be a
Maggie
last.
Grace. That would be a nice one, Maggie Grace. That's like a
It's a cute name.
that's like a,
It's a very white name.
it's very white. I mean, we both have very white names.
That's true. That's true. Anyways,
Like you're the one with the. I think Margaret is like Margarita is what mine is versus yours is just Grace.
Grace. I have Andrea though.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Anyways, back to this. Button, yeah, it was the cutest one. I don't think I've read any books with like super cute nicknames.
I love.
Oh, and no, I don't want to say it with you because you're gonna.
Is it from These Violent Delights?
No.
Oh, then say it.
No, because I'm not saying it right.
Well, I can correct you. I can correct you live.
I have to look at it.
Okay, I'll talk about mine. So the Madison Kate series, Steele calls her Hellcat, and I don't know why, but it's the sexiest like name, like Hellcat, because it's not like Kitty Cat or like Kitty. It's like you're such a fucking Hellcat. Like it's like that because it's a darker romance. So and she's kind of like this bully bad bitch thing. So it's like that like Hellcat thing, and you're like, oh. I actually have a video planned of like all of the like pet names that I like.
That would be a good one.
I have it. I already filmed it last night at like 2 a.m. and I'm posting it tomorrow.
Okay, tag me in it.
Yes, I'll tag you. I'll tag you in my favorite pet names. But
okay,
yeah,
so
no. What is yours? Okay, say it. Do you want to text it to me and then I can say it out loud?
I got it. I gotta be brave. It's Malishka. Is that how you say it?
Send me.
No, because no.
I know I need to know because I don't know if you're saying it right or not.
It's MALYSHKA. Malishka. That's how you say it. It's something like that. Let's try Google. Google coming to the rescue. Anyways, it's what Christian calls its baby. It's what Christian calls Gianna.
Oh, that's cute.
Right? And the way that he says it has to do with like the story.
Hold on, let me
But then like Ronan calls Mila Kitty or Kitten, which is like no, shit, I don't even know. Something. It's a hard word. I know I see it in my eye, but I cannot for the life of me say it. He says like
Котенок?
No. Well, I'm at a scene right now where he's not calling her by that name.
How did you spell what Christian calls her again?
Malishka? MALYSHKA.
Oh, babe. Malishka.
Yeah, but the way that he
It's
says
the
it in my head is
it's
definitely
the mal
Mal.
shka.
What?
So in Russian there's like this letter and it's u so it's malishka. I'm not probably saying it too correctly, but it's not just malishka, it's malishka. There's like an accent. It's like accented between the mal and shka.
Yeah, my tongue can't do that.
It's more of like a throat sound.
Okay, so the other one is Kodionok.
Котенок.
Okay, so I got it kind of okay.
It's
enough for you to know what it was.
Котенок.
Yeah.
Котенок, that's kitten. Because koshka is kitten. And then котенок is kitten. Or koshka is cat, and then котенок is kitten.
Okay. Maggie, at this point, you're just gonna have to teach me the whole language. I'll
Да,
trade
я
you.
говорю по-русски. Чуть-чуть. Я говорю по-русски чуть-чуть.
I have no idea what that is.
I
Okay,
literally said I speak Russian a little bit.
that's fine. A little bit, just enough to get me by.
I
Anyway,
do it to impress kids in my classes where I'll just go, Здравствуйте, меня зовут Маргарита Карпенко, как дела? And they're all like,
yeah, that's gonna work for you perfectly until you get like a guy in there that like starts talking to you full out in Russian. You're just
oh,
like,
I've had that before. I've had that before. He was in my, but he's like from Russia, so, and I'm Ukrainian, so I like have more of a Ukrainian,
yeah.
because my dad's Ukrainian, so. But back to
To uh
this book.
names. Button was like a very adorable name that he always ends up calling her. And at first, like she thinks it's being condescending, but it's not. I gotta say that their banter is like really, really cute
Mm-hmm.
because it's banter that's built off of like her trying to, like, she comes from like an upper class family, and she's very proper and things like that, and like she doesn't look down her nose at him, but she is flustered with how good he looks to her, that she comes off as abrasive, and then it just like spirals down into like him seeing her as like stuck up, and then her seeing him as like just like some guy who's just picking at her, and the way that their relationship ends up growing from that is like so adorable. It had me laughing so many times.
Yeah, because they get each other's humor. Like she doesn't get his at first, but then she finally like figures it out, and he kind of just thinks that her humor, like he thinks at first like, oh, she's kind of this like prissy thing, and then he starts realizing when he heard her through the door, he's like, oh, she's making a joke, and then he's like, oh, that's kind of cute and funny how she's trying to make a joke. So, um, what
Yeah.
did you think? So Red is an artist, we know that. What did you think about the whole plot line with his ex?
Okay, so the whole plot with his ex, Portia was this girl who kind of like abused Red's talent, because Red is an artist and he's a really good painter, and Portia used her influence to gain money from him through like art deals and things like that. But she didn't really love him. She didn't really care about him. And he was like so infatuated with her. He would literally do anything for her. And pretty soon he realized that he was like giving himself away, and he was like kind of sinking into a hole, and she did not care at all. And
It was an abusive relationship.
it was a big time abusive relationship. It was emotionally abusive and mentally abusive, because she made it that he doubted his ability to really do anything without her, to
Yeah.
succeed without him. I mean, without
To
her.
even paint without her.
Exactly. And for so long he didn't paint, because like he's like, what's the what's worth painting if it's not going to be sold, because I'm not good enough. I only sold because Portia allowed me to, and that's not true. And then Chloe right off the bat nips that in the bud, because she's just like, what are you talking about? This is actually good. And
Because she
this is
watches him. She
yeah,
watches him
she
through the
watches
window.
him.
That was like her do a bad thing, was watching him through the window, which I thought was so cute and so innocent, because she was like, oh my God, I did a bad thing. I was watching him through the window. And like, we all watch guys through windows. We all do it.
Yeah, because my mind went a little bit further when she said, I did a bad thing. I was like, what did you do?
What did you do when you thought about him? Because he
Yeah,
did something, but he did.
yeah, exactly. So
I
I
really,
thought she did while watching him.
oh, well, okay. I think it is like, I know this is like a thing guys do, but like, I haven't really done this, but I think it's so weird that like he like did that and like didn't really know her. I don't know. I think that's weird. It's like a little bit weird.
I
It's
mean, he kind of knew her because it's been a couple,
it's
it's
been
been
a
a few
couple.
months.
It's been a few months, but like he doesn't like. He's not a friend of hers,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and so it's
Oh,
kind
but
of.
that's kind of normal.
Do guys actually do that?
Yeah.
I think that's so weird though. I think that's like if
Well,
if
because
you
girls, we kind of need a little connection.
that's true, we do.
We need a little something in order for us to think them attractive.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can think that they're attractive surface level, but sometimes that's not enough to create a whole fantasy around. We need a detail, you know?
Yeah. No, I yeah, I just
Guys do that all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a thing. Yeah, I've had so many conversations with a whole bunch of guy friends about that, and they're just like, yeah, you don't, because again, the male gaze is very different from female gaze, right?
It's true. Yeah.
But with him painting in the window, I literally thought that the bad thing she did was have herself a little me time watching him through the window.
Okay, when they like broke up for a little bit and he was like
Oh,
waiting for her to watch him through the window and like so he could catch her and stuff, that was a cute. That was so cute. Like I just I think it was like all those little moments throughout this book that really made it tie in together so well. And
yeah.
like she was able to do that, like little moments like her watching him through the window and it ends up after they break up, he's waiting and he knows that she watched him and stuff and he's
And she
waiting
can
and
feel him look up at her.
yeah.
That thing, that I love that trope where like I don't know if it's like I don't know if you've ever had this moment, but I have a bunch of times where you can literally feel the other person looking at you. It's just like this sense of like awareness that you have, um where you can feel when they walk into a room, when they look at you. Like books describe this moment, and I have been lucky enough to actually feel that, where I would be working, doing something, my back to the doors, and I would feel my person walk into the room, and I would just know. And this person, he would end up telling me later on, like, how can you tell that I'm there? And I'm like, how do you know that I notice that you're there? And he would tell me like, because like you sit up, or like you like stiffen, or like you do this little movement that lets me know that you know that I'm there. I don't think I could ever sneak up on you, or things like that, because that awareness that you have of the other person is like so keen and so insightful that even when you're fighting, like how Chloe and Red were, that awareness of each other is still there from across the courtyard and on the other side of windows, you know? It's because you both want to look, you both want to call out to each other, but you're both too stubborn to do it until you both give in. And it's so sweet when they finally do.
And like when they're walking and stuff and when they go to the bars and he selects bars that are close to each other so that she's able to walk on her own,
A man.
that's when I knew he was in love with her. That's
Oh,
when you know he's in love with her.
he's so attentive with her. He like doesn't berate her like with like, we need to sit down, we can't walk, we can't do this, we can't do that. No, it's like we can do it. We have limitations to work within, but that's totally doable. We can do it. And he gets it done.
Yeah, and I whenever sorry, I'm looking off to the side. I just need to like process this. Of like whenever I would look in his point of view at Chloe, I felt good about myself. Like, do you ever read that in a book and you when the main love interest, like whether that be a guy or a girl, and they're talking about the other main character, and you can tell that they just find them utterly amazing just for who they are and like find like the little details and you're like, wow, I wish and it makes you kind of feel good about yourself because you self-insert sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. We all wish we had um a little red for us.
Literally, because he takes such good care of her. Like, there's a spicy scene that I really like where they finally like say like that they want each other, and that she's in pain, and she they kiss like for the first time. I think that's what it is. I think they kiss for the first time, and then he notices that she's in pain, and then like she's like, I think you should kiss me again, and he's like, but you aren't well, and she's just like, it's fine, I'm never fine anyways, but we can do other stuff. And it was just like, are you sure?
It's
And
that like
he says something like,
what page?
I think it's 263. He goes, I just want to read this. Okay, she says 263, she goes, I think you should kiss me again, and this time don't do anything silly like stop. He smiled, but his eyes were serious. You aren't well. I'm never well. And my consultant does like to go on and on about endorphins being natural painkillers. And really, your doctor tells you that? Well, yes, but usually in a Chloe, you should go out and have fun sort of way. Not a Chloe, you should clumsily seduce someone by discussing pain management sort of way. He wrapped an arm around her waist, hugging her tighter against him. No avoiding that erection now. She 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 tried to maintain some dignity, succeeded for half a second, then crumbled like feta and rocked her hips against his. The choked groan he gave was pleasing. The way he screwed his eyes shut and let his head fall back, exposing the vulnerable line of his throat, was intoxicating. Beautiful. Orgasm.
The next quote he says, sounding pain, he asks, orgasms can cause endorphins, right? They do.
And
One
then
one. He says one.
Only this man could offer one up like a silver plattered dish. And it'd be so sexy. Like, damn, boy, yes.
Just a simple 2 words, like want one? Where he's just like, do you want one, Chloe? Because he knows she does.
Of course she does. And then she's like, oh, I'm still wearing my bunaref I don't know how to say that patch, which makes it more difficult for me to do that.
Buprenorphine.
Buprenorphine. Whatever.
Buprenorphine.
If you know what it is.
Buprenorphine.
Anyways.
He's like, want to try? And she says, yes, please.
Oh my gosh. And then that's when he finds out that the buttons were fake, because like she
oh my
can't
gosh
do it. And he like says, you and your fucking cardigans, you fake fucking cardigans. And she's like, do you like cardigans? And his amusement faded away, replaced by something raw and animal. I like yours. Because he literally, every time he daydreams about her, it's about her and her fucking cardigans. Yes. And so, proceeding on to the next scene, we see things happen that are so beautiful. And then he says things like, I like the way you look at me. And then his phone is buzzing off, right? In the middle of it. And then she's like, you know, starting to gather her thoughts. She's like, oh, Red, you have to work. And he says, I'm busy. Be quiet. And then she says, I don't think you want me to be quiet. And he says, no, I don't. And then he proceeds to tell her all of the things that he loves about her. I don't think I could say them on YouTube.
well like I love your
melons.
I love your melons, but not as much as I love your legs. Don't ask me why. I've been fantasizing about your thighs, all soft and thick and lush. He groaned and pressed his hot, open mouth kisses to her jaw, her throat, her collarbone. She sucked in a breath when his mouth reached her cleavage and kept going. He told her to keep the bra on, but now he muttered, fuck it, and pulled down a cup until she spilled out. The tip of his tongue, impossibly light and achingly delicate, nudged her nipple. At contact, a moan shot through her lips. Her body arched without permission, her hips rocking forward. He took her nipple into his mouth, sucking hard, and she lost every last of her control. It was as if she had been on the edge of consciousness, clinging to lucidity by her fingertips, but now she was tumbling into a dream world. She was lust. It's not just like sexy, it's so beautifully written.
It's like the type of writing that just makes you feel it all. Like
Yeah.
it's yes, it's spicy and everything, but it's about the whole experience of it. It's about everything. It's about the emotions going into it. It's about the type of weightlessness that they feel, the rush, everything combined into one. Because usually in those moments, it's not just like you're not just focusing on the actual physical acts, you're worrying about like what it makes you feel, how it catches your breath, all of these things. And this book does so well with it. And one thing that he says very funny is just like, you know, she's pushing for them to like go all the way. And then she's like, no, I'm not rushing this because no. And she goes like, don't you have a condom in your wallet or something? And he snorts and goes, you're confused about the state of my sex life. No, there's not a condom in my wallet. And even if there was, I wouldn't give you what you want. I'd need to take my time. And I like hearing you beg. Lord, have mercy. Mm, 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 mm. So this scene was definitely one of my favorite parts. And especially because like towards the end when she finally does like go over the hill, she ends up crying. And he holds her tight and he says, I knew you'd cry. And she wasn't sure how her voice still worked, but she managed to ask how. And he said, you feel so much. And that line after, first of all, after like that moment, right? But then that line is not just based on her emotional feeling, but
But
her
her
like
physical, because she's constantly in pain, and so it's this like idea of, like, she's hypersensitive, and like I think for him to like acknowledge that, and he acknowledges all of her, I think is so beautiful. And like he he's just he is this perfect guy. Like, yeah, he has like some trouble and like issues and stuff, but he's still like this caring dude. And like the things he says to her, oh,
one line that he says to her that I'm trying to find, but I can't. I'm guessing that it's like later on. Um, he says, fuck, I gotta find this page because it's gonna kill me if I don't. He says, why can't I find it? I'm losing my mind here. I think he says, you're gonna let me in that pretty little
mm,
kitty tonight, Chloe. And the way he says it, I was like, hmm.
like some of my smutty book boyfriends just can't do it as well as Red. And I think it kind of has to do with like this isn't just a smutty book. It's like it's characterized as fiction. Like it literally says fiction. It's not a romance, even though it won a romance award, which I thought was interesting that this is actually shelved in fiction in Barnes and Noble, which I think we should change it to romance because it's obviously like ro- romance is the main plot. But uh, it's so beautifully written.
And it's not like just at the beginning that he's talking. It's like throughout. Like he's making her feel like the most beautiful person in the world, the sexiest girl
Yeah.
in the world. And that's what you want out of your partner. And for her, for Chloe, you know, like her number one, she didn't feel like she could have these types of relationship with somebody because the pain would stop them, because they would look at her as lesser, when he just looks at her as this strong person who has to endure so much and is still able to live beautifully. And he makes her remember, yes, you have pain, but you have so much more.
Like she isn't just her chronic illness.
Yes, and it's like literally one of like the most beautiful things I've ever read, and I feel like that's why it's like my favorite ever book. like contemporary romance so far, because the way that their relationship grows is so genuine and so sweet that it just makes you fall in love with both of them.
And like I think the writing is also like it reads kind of how I was saying earlier. The reason why it's so impactful is because it's very it's it has that it's not just like a smutty romance like romance book. It's that literary. It kind of has that literary feel of the way she describes stuff. How you were talking about earlier, where it's just like this like beautifully written, cohesive piece that if you took out the romance, like yeah, it would struggle a little bit, but it's still beautifully written without the sexy scenes.
Yeah, because like it's it's just she's literally living for the first time ever. And it's not that she needed someone to do it. She was going to do it on her own anyways. But this man was kind of given the opportunity to help her see her own capabilities. And that was like the most amazing thing ever. Like, I love all the spicy stuff and the way that he makes her feel absolutely beautiful. But then it's so much more than that, you know? Like, I'm flipping through it now and I'm looking at all of these beautiful moments and I'm just so happy because their stories kind of honestly, this could be a movie and I
Okay,
would
it would be a really cute movie.
it would be such a cute movie. It would be a great romance movie.
I I feel like we have so many of these like high fantasy YA books coming out into movies, and I'm like, I kind of want that like nice, fluffy adult romance movie. And I think honestly, I think like Netflix could do a good adaptation of it. Honestly, Netflix and HBO should be the ones sticking to like white from like book to TV because based on theirs, they do really well.
Mhm.
So, kind of to wrap this up.
I found the page, by the way.
Oh,
It's on the bottom of page 310 where he says that yummy line.
are you gonna be able to read it, or do you want me
Yes.
to read it?
Can I say that word out loud? Can I?
Yeah, it's towards
Okay.
the end.
Okay. YouTube, don't take us down. He kisses her.
Start from "You're not so bad."
Oh, okay, you want the whole thing? Okay, okay. Um,
Do you want me to do it?
oh, I got it. I got
Do
it.
it.
You're not so bad yourself button. He pushed her back against the cushions and she laughed as she bounced a little on the blow up mattress. The laughter faded in her throat when Red lowered his body over hers, pressing her firmly into the blankets, grounding her and whipping her into a frenzy all at once. Her lips and her legs parted on a gasp. He kissed her jaw and whispered against her skin, "So, you gonna let me slide inside that pretty pussy tonight, Chloe?" That line took me out. I was like,
Mm.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please do. Please.
Scrumptious.
If
Scrumptious.
a real man ever said that, I'd be like, ugh.
Like, get the
But
fuck out of
again,
here.
nuance, nuance. He's already kissing her. They are building up. They know that this is the moment
This
for
is
that.
like this is like the what is that like
Right time, right place.
foreplay.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. But that was definitely one of my favorite lines ever. This book made me laugh out loud so
Mm-hmm.
many times.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me, so romantic, so cute, so cheesy. I can't wait to read the rest of the Brown Sisters. If you haven't picked up this book, you make sure that you do so. Such a good book. It's such a great
Well,
audio.
I don't know if anybody else is listening who hasn't picked up the book because we just spoiled the whole book for them.
Well, yeah. If well, convince other people to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but yeah, that's us wrapping up this
Get a
quick
life.
episode of Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Me.
Um, it was a good read. It was a nice um
It was a
palate
fluffy,
cleanser.
nice
It
read.
was a good palate cleanser read.
Yeah, it was definitely. It definitely got me out of a reading slump too. I finished it so fast. This book I actually finished faster than Maggie.
Yeah, you did. You finished it so much faster than me
Yeah,
because you started it after me and finished it before me.
literally.
You finished it in a day.
I
You finished
literally.
it in a day because
I
you
could have.
listened to the audiobook. I was not. But so we both enjoyed this book. Kind of to talk about the Garrison's episode. Everybody who is still listening to us, thank you so much for following and subscribing to us after that episode. That episode has done well. That is our most liked, most viewed, most played episode was Garrison. So thank you for everybody who has come onto our channel and found us through that. It was kind of great.
Make sure you guys go back and listen to all of our other beautiful guests that we had on. And if you have any people that you would like us to interview or to have on, make sure you guys drop a comment, let us know, send us a DM, have them reach out to us.
Yeah.
We're looking for new guests to have on. We usually have just friends on that we've known through book talk or whatever, Bookstagram, but we always looking for more guests because we just want to have fun. Make sure you guys go ahead and listen to Jenna's episode, which was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Be looking out for the episode coming up soon where we're going to go through the Shadow and Bone episode with my brother Jacob, who is not a reader at all. So that's going to be fun.
Honestly, I thought about bringing my sister onto the episode too. She was like, "I want to be on,"
Oh,
because they're both non-readers.
they are.
And they both loved it.
Yeah, that'll be a long episode.
That would be my sister and me together. That's a danger.
For sure. That's
Well,
what we'll do. We'll have our siblings on. That'll be a cute episode.
Sibling episode. But
Yeah.
thank you to everybody who's still listening now. We had fun time. This is a great little read. It's definitely almost midnight for me. Am I still gonna go read? Of course.
Of course.
But thank you for listening and thank you for staying. And all the links will be down in the description. Right after this, you can click on to the next video recommended for you, or one that I chosen was Jenna's. So that will be that, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.